Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the Championship Rounds podcast. Fantastic night of boxing last night. And the only natural place to start is the main event. David Benavidez taking a 12-round UD over David Morrell to cement himself as the number one challenger to the Beterbiev Bivol winner. In a fantastic fight, I thought.
It was like a good competitive, but like clear winner for Benavidez.
I've seen multiple people like have a Morrell scorecard, and I was just like, "What are we doing?" Like he did like very well, but he clearly lost. Like he did not win 6+ rounds, but that was great. So.
Yeah, they got down to it really, really early. I didn't think it would be that explosive that early. They just started just beating the hell out of each other in the first sort of 3 or 4 rounds. It was brilliant. Like
My jaw almost hit the floor in that 4th round when Morrell landed that right hook. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Morrell did loads of good work. Loads of good work.
Yeah, I was worried for him in those middle rounds for that like his gas tank. It seemed like forgot which round it was, maybe like 5 or 6. It just seemed like his energy just like got chopped in half.
Yeah,
But then come around like 8, 9, he like looked a bit energized.
I think a lot of that as well had to do with he did take a lot out of Benavidez, and Benavidez did slow down as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think Benavidez sort of realised Morrell wasn't going anywhere. It was a combination of that, so he was trying to pick his shots a bit more, and the fact that he was wary of getting hit. I think a little bit, so he did sort of slow down a little bit. He was still winning the rounds and still, still boxing well, but it wasn't the reckless abandonment that he used to have at super middle.
Yeah, I gave him like 6 through 10. Like he won like a good stretch of rounds.
Yeah, definitely. But he did slow down. He did slow down, and I think that's testament to Morrell because
his whole face was a mess. Like the whole left side of his face was a disaster. He was cut, swollen. I think the inside of his mouth was cut probably.
it just thought to me the fight. You're just sort of thinking, sort of in those middle rounds, Morrell needs to land something to stop Benavidez and hurt him. Not stop it, not stop the fight sort of thing, but just
stop
really put a dent in him. Yeah, stop the momentum, and he just couldn't. He was boxing well, but he was getting beat. And it was competitive, but Benavidez was winning the rounds. And then, yeah, it's a great fight, man.
Boxing is not his style. He's never going to win boxing this fight. It's not his style. He's not that. He's not a fighter that fights on the back foot. And is he going to be able to push? Is he going to be able to push Benavidez back? No. I mean, he did it a bit, but consistently, no.
It wouldn't be Benavidez if he wasn't coming forward. Landing those insanely fast combinations for a dude that big, for him to punch like that fast, that hard. It's like beautiful to watch, really.
I mean, he just sets a pace that most people can't keep up with, and he's not even one of those guys that throws so many punches, but has it barely lands any. I mean, he lands a lot of his punches. He's really accurate with his punches.
I was about to say that he's really a pinpoint combination puncher.
I mean, I thought his defense was actually better than usual.
Yeah, he's not crazy head movement, but he's like blocking a lot of these punches with his
I
arms.
mean, he was actually like slipping some punches, rolling onto some punches, and usually he just leans back and has the high guard, but he was actually like moving out of range.
Yeah,
Which
he just has really active hands for like punches thrown and coming back at him.
I mean, I think it says a lot about Morrell that he actually took his defense seriously in this fight. Well, more than usual.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a defensive wizard, obviously.
You want to know something weird? It's CompuBox, but I say it's CompuBox with a pinch of salt because they're not always that accurate. But
I think I know what you're going to say.
Morrell
He didn't.
threw nearly 50 punches more.
He didn't. Not even close.
Yeah.
That is not accurate at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Benavidez threw at least twice as many punches from what I
Yeah.
watched.
I saw that and I thought that's weird because I didn't see that. But
Just thrown or landed?
Just thrown.
I mean, he landed like 3 times as many as well. I don't know. What are they even? Maybe they're blind. I think they're blind. I think CompuBox are blind.
A lot of these, like, this is why I never trust fight stats, especially live, because you just can't tell. You especially punches landed, like you can't tell what's landed live.
I do kind of feel like they should do
punch.
CompuBox stats like after the fact, like the day after.
Yeah, you just can't tell. But
Look, if you're gonna do CompuBox, make them as accurate as possible. So take time, slow the fight down, see what lands, see what doesn't. Do it the next day.
And like, is a punch? What's a punch? It sounds like a stupid question, but what's a punch? Is Benavidez manipulating the guard and sort of putting the guard down? Is that a punch? Would you count that as a punch? Because live, you might.
Like they counted like 400 of AJ just pouring jabs against Usyk.
Yeah. And
like they count it as a jab where he like takes the
and all he does is just
swipe down.
You're just posting.
Well, that's not a punch. He's like grabbing his glove to hit him with the other hand. That's just one punch, but they might count it as 2.
This is such an autistic conversation. what we count as punches and that. But yeah, it's just Morrell couldn't put a dent in him, and he was just. It was just the pressure. Benavidez, I think, Benavidez' big fight experience helped him a lot here.
I feel like that's
Morrell's a bit more experienced.
What got him through.
Look, experience, better offense.
Yep.
And stamina. Difference. Was a difference in this fight.
Yep. But then again, like the stamina thing, does Morrell learn to pace himself better if he goes 12 rounds with good people? Like it's that type of thing. Like I don't know.
And I mean, he kept up like reasonably well against someone who has insane stamina. I mean, he did slow down for like those 5 rounds in the middle.
But then he ramped it up again, which is surprising.
But then he got a bit of a second win. And I mean, he hurt him like a couple times. I mean, he scored the knockdown, which was not a knockdown.
Punched him in his.
He punched him in his arm. He literally punched him in his arm. Like if that's like those like checkers, those cuffing hooks like Sandor Martin had against Teofimo where it lands. I mean, it doesn't really do much, but he just went down more off balance. Like yeah, sure, but punch didn't land.
Even like a Wood Conlon round 11.
Yeah, like punched him in his arm.
It's half slip, half punch. Then you can't count an arm punch.
I didn't even need the slow mo to see that hit his arm. I could see it hit his arm real time.
No, even the way Benavidez like landed and react, I was like, I knew that wasn't a knockdown. But...
And then he got a point taken away.
That was stupid as well.
Live, I was like, that was a good point deduction, and then I was like, oh wait, they both were thrown after. So like,
yeah,
it just
especially at that point, you just should have warned him.
Look, I mean, I think he took the point away because that punch hurt Benavidez. If that
Yeah, I
didn't
was
hurt
like,
Benavidez,
if that was just like
I
a
don't think
jab.
he'd take a punch away.
If that was a jab, he wouldn't have done anything. But he landed a flush hook on him. So
That's the inexperience coming into play.
frustration too, probably.
Yeah, I'd be frustrated. He'd eaten like 500 punches.
It's like rare 9-8 round. It looks weird.
That's not
How some people like score a round like that without
that.
point predictions.
You don't. You're going to make me go on a rant about how people score fights now because that's not how you score the round. Because deductions come off at the end of the fights, not the
Because we know,
rounds.
but they have to visualize it to people. They can't just have it
I know
on a
because
piece of paper.
people are stupid. That's why.
Yes, on the
But anyway,
scorecards it will say
that's
on the
another-
scorecards it will say 10-9, and then next to
Because
it
it'll just
there's
say
a little
Yeah,
deduction
one
thing.
deduction.
Minus 1 point, minus 1
you
point.
just need to put it like next to the round where it happened.
Yeah,
But you know,
anyway,
we have to be able to show it, so it has to be written 9-8,
yeah, it's
Exactly.
even though it's a 10-point mark system.
See, this is why I hate. Just don't get me started, especially with knockdown scoring, because that's when the idiots really come out when it's knockdown scoring. I don't get how it's
There's
difficult to
multiple
understand.
knockdowns in a round. It gets bad.
Yeah, I don't know how it's difficult to understand, but anyway, But talking of scoring, that 118-108 card was a disgrace.
Jesus Christ!
That was
I
horrible.
honestly wanted to forget about that. That's so disrespectful. Like Benavidez clearly won, but come.
Yeah, it's a horrible card. Like
Two rounds.
no, that was
No, that's
one.
That's
one
one round.
round.
If
Oh
I've got a
yeah,
point taken away.
I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jesus Christ.
It's ridiculous.
That's
Like that just wasn't reality, and it's a shame. But I really think Morrell can come again. Like definitely. Like someone on Twitter posted today, Morrell against Anthony Yard.
eat shit.
What did Anthony
Anthony
do to that guy?
Like that version of Morrell with chin, yo.
Anthony Yard would take such a bad beating in that fight,
Has he seen Anthony Yard fight recently?
or at all.
He wouldn't need to.
I'm like, yeah, I. It's weird when you see a fight, and in my head, who I think's sort of the rankings of the best fighters in the division, that hasn't changed. If that makes any sense. I still think Morrell is the fourth best in the division, and I still think Benavidez is the third best. That hasn't changed for me.
He's not going nowhere.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that says a lot about the division, really. Well, outside of the top four, I guess.
Too many Brits. Way too many Brits.
Like,
I take it we all think Beterbiev stops him still.
Yeah.
especially after Benavidez hasn't really been like hurt that many times, but he was like hurt like multiple times. You know,
And he got hit a lot.
Yeah,
And I worry about what if Benavidez gets pushed back.
He will get pushed back.
he
Yeah.
would immediately get pushed back. He won't get Callum Smith pushed back.
We've never really
Instantaneous
seen
pushback,
him fight on the back foot like that.
He can't.
He'd be forced to, and then he'd probably like start trading and be stupid, and then get
Get
chipped.
done like Callum Smith.
It could be worse because Benavidez will actually like try, so
Yeah,
and like trade, like trying to survive basically. So he
I
probably
think
actually
that'll be a very, very fun sort of 4 or 5 round firefight that ends in Beterbiev knocking him out. That's how I see that fight in my head. Because Benavidez isn't a fight that's just going to throw in the towel and think, yeah, I'm just going to shut up. he's going to start throwing and giving everything, and yeah, that will get you knocked out against Beterbiev. And hopefully that fight gets made next, or against Biv. I'm sort of giving away who I think is going to win that fight, aren't I?
Look, whoever wins, that's who he should fight.
Yeah, so Beterbiev. Yeah. It was a really good fight. I really enjoyed this card. On to the chief support. We were all wrong. Brandon Figueroa boxed like Liam Davis against Shabazz Masood. Just did absolutely nothing. Plodded into range. Didn't throw anything. Of anything meaningful really. Every single shot was the same. And Stephen Fulton's just way too good for that type of fighter, and he boxed really well.
We were wrong, but we weren't wrong. Because, I mean, I did say if Figueroa can't fight his fight, Fulton's going to win it. Fulton's going to win easily. And guess what? He won easily. He won every round. Wasn't even close.
I gave
those scorecards are way too generous.
And, I mean, he did do better in life. But, you know, I didn't think
Actually, I don't have to watch it again.
That was actually embarrassing.
It was like, but that's what I was thinking watching it. By the way, Liam Davis against Shabazz Masood, sort of just floating into range, throwing the exact same shot over and over again. Big stiff, standing straight up, not doing anything, and then just falling in.
Stances too. Like, what the hell are you doing?
It's just
like, who do you think you are? Why don't you just do what gave you all of the success in the first one? You know, at some point, Fulton's gonna give in to just fighting with you. He eventually did that, but you didn't put any damage on him to keep him in the same place.
Look, I mean, he got outboxed. He got beat out his own game. Because even when he did start to up the output a bit from 60 punches, still get beat to the punch.
Counters
and dominated.
That was sad. That was watching the end of Omar's career.
It's weird because in this situation, it's always weird because you don't want to discredit Fulton, but because I think he did box really, really well. But that was a very, very poor Brandon Figueroa.
Did he look good because he's back? Or did he look good because Brandon Figueroa was terrible and couldn't fight his style because he's so drained?
I need to
it's probably a mixture of the two.
Fight again. To really know if this is early 2020s Fulton, because that's that I can't picture that's the best of him.
Look, I'm gonna say Fulton is back. Look, his first fight in the division against Castro. I mean, Castro's a tricky style matchup for Fulton. But I mean, I think he's a bit used to the weight. I mean, not everyone looks great in their first fight, especially coming off getting knocked out by anyway.
I don't know. I just can't. I can't get the Castro fight out of my head. I don't know. I'm going to say it's a combination of the both. He looked a lot better than the Castro fight. But I do think it's a combination of him boxing really well and Figueroa boxing awfully. I don't know if he's back fully or not.
I was if that's if that's just Figueroa now, I generally think he should retire. If that's
he should move up.
130 Figueroa.
But that's sort of the issue though. A 130 Figueroa. What makes Figueroa good is that he's big, physically imposing, and throws loads and overwhelms you. Against big 130s, is that really going to work?
No, but it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah,
it'll be fun to watch him at least be able to fight his style.
You see a lot of these guys that are massive for the weight, throw loads of punches, are big physical guys, strong guys, then when they get a bit drained or when they have to move up, they just don't look the same. Jared Hurd was the same, and he's like the example I almost always go to here. As soon as he was drained at the weight a little bit, he was done. And then he had to move up, and then he's just looked terrible since. And
But even with Hurd, he was able to like keep up. Like he was still stuck in between styles, but he'd still chuck 100 punches around. Figueroa can't even do that anymore.
Yeah, it's just like move up to 130 and be sort of a BC level contender in fun fights. I think.
I don't even really want him to do that.
130 is not a great division. Maybe you can catch someone on an off night.
I mean,
they have to be on a really off night. Like they'd have to be sick.
Valdez.
Valdez is done too. So.
Make that in Arizona. Figueroa against Oscar Valdez. There you go.
Yeah, Figueroa walks into a massive left hook and dies.
I don't want him to see him get stopped like bad, and one side will be like his brother. I don't really want to see that. And I feel like that's what would happen if Figueroa would move up and try to do too much. I feel like he's just going to get beat on, and it's just going to look worse. I'd rather not see that.
Yeah.
Well, Fulton has to fight, or should fight, unbeatable Vargas.
Yeah, I'm previously unbeatable Vargas.
No, he's
That's
unbeatable.
A tough fight, man.
He's unbeatable at featherweight.
Vargas is sort of a similar sort of size and range to Carlos Castro. Like, that's a tough fight.
Look, if you're going to beat Fulton, it's going to be by outboxing him.
Yeah, from range, and that's a. If Vargas's body holds up, I think he might win that fight.
I don't think he'll hold up. I think he's going to completely gas out.
Yeah.
Like he did against Nick Ball.
He might even just finish, man. Like, at this stage, like, who knows? He's just not really doing anything. Like, there's just been no news. Like, nobody even cared that he vacated the belt in the first place. Like,
more people probably happy than cared. Like, yeah, sure, we don't have to watch you anymore.
Have you hold on to the belt for a year before you fight again.
he's a good fighter, man.
He is.
He's a very good fighter. I'd like to see. I'd like to see Stephen Fulton against Nick Ball next, but that's not going to happen.
Because Nick Ball's just going to keep fighting former super bantamweights and bantamweights.
Nick Ball's being held out for an away fight, and it's quite obvious.
Because if Fulton beats Nick Ball before Nick Ball fights anyway, well, Ball's not going to be happy. Frank's not going to be happy.
And Nue's going to be very happy, though.
I do not want to watch it anyway. Fulton, too.
Yeah, I won't be happy because I've already seen it away Fulton.
Yeah, Nue's going to be really happy, though.
Yeah, I want to see him batter Nick Ball.
Opponent, yeah.
I would. I was saying this a few months ago as a joke because I was quite strong on Figueroa winning this fight, and I'm quite strong on Nick Ball beating TJ Dehenny. But in like a month's time, or not a month's time, just over a month's time, we could have a situation where Inoue has knocked out two of the featherweight champions.
Look, if Nick Ball loses a bloody TJ Dehenny,
he should retire right there on the spot. Never even look at boxing.
Yeah.
TJ Dehenny.
TJ Dehenny. Anyway, well done to Fulton, man, because I'm not in the lie, I wrote him off. I didn't think he was.
I just wasn't sure.
Well done.
It was hard to tell.
As a featherweight, I'm still not really fully convinced.
I'm not fully convinced, but that was a really, really good performance.
Well, he beats Nick Ball anyway.
What? Grass is green, though.
Not necessarily. Not when it dies.
All right, bro.
I don't know. I don't know about that fight. Fulton's technically far superior, but I don't know. He could get caught, and he could. I don't know. Like the first Figueroa fight, like I think that could be close because I think Nick Paul will just abandon defense and just throw a million punches at him, and that's how it could be close. But I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I haven't thought about that fight. I just think it would be very, very entertaining, but I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Well, Fulton would fight him on the inside because he likes doing that.
Yep. The Nick Ball can't fight anything but on the inside.
Look, it's probably one of those. It'll be one of those fights where Nick Ball's throwing more. I mean, he's not landing all, and Fulton's landing the much cleaner punches. Might be controversial.
Yep, it's what you like. Nick Ball lands so much on gloves, man, and like, yeah,
He's a pressure, aggression, volume merchant.
yep, yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to pressure, aggression, volume merchant. In one of the best fights of the year so far, maybe even the best fight of the year so far.
No, it's the best. And
Yeah.
look, I mean, Cruz. I mean, he's pretty accurate, I guess. He's more accurate than Nick Ball.
Maybe.
But that's not hard.
Yeah, yeah. Man, Angel Fierro's got a 10.5, hasn't he?
That's an understatement. I don't care if it's Isak Cruz at 140. There's no reason why he should have been able to take some of those punches he took. Full steam, 100% power. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, especially because he really loads up on every punch.
So it's like you get numb to it, in fairness, a bit. Like, you would have got numb to it, but still, that's just ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Cruz getting hurt, that wasn't something I thought of. Let's see, like clearly hurt, like clenching and like just chucking back like he's Juan Manuel Marquez or something, just hurt and just throwing punches, just not really caring what's coming back when he's hurt.
It's just a ridiculous fight. I think Cruz just nicked it, probably 6-4.
Another disgusting scorecard in there.
Yeah,
I scored it even.
that's fair.
6-4 Cruz. Yeah.
That's fair.
If Fierro had a much better second half than he did in the first half.
Cruz got super tired.
He's going to though, like. I
Watching
don't.
150 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Cruz is very entertaining, but he's not very good. That's just like that. That's not an elite fighter.
Not even close.
That's not even. That's probably not even a world caliber fighter.
Former
Really.
world champion, by the way.
Look, he's not a world level fighter. He just happened to beat one of the worst world champions ever.
Yeah.
To put himself on the list of one of the worst world champions ever.
He's a really entertaining fighter. I think fights like this are perfect for him and perfect for the fans. Like, package him as a really fun action fighter, fighting on undercards and stuff, and nobody's annoyed. Like that.
Just match him up. Don't match him up with anyone except Mexicans.
No, I disagree with that.
Because
I disagree with that because he's at 140, and there's a certain 140 pounder from Canada that I think if you put Steve Plackett in a ring with Isaac Cruz,
yeah, they both come out of the ring with brain damage.
Imagine that's the fight I want: Steve Plackett against Isaac Cruz, throwing millions of punches. Just can you imagine?
That's a confirmed 1,500 plus punches.
Can you imagine that? Steve Plackett, Isaac Cruz.
I can imagine violence.
That's perfect. Just do fights like that, like 3 times a year or whatever, and well,
Maybe not that much.
well, yeah, like 2
You don't
times
want
a
to
year.
kill him. You don't want to kill him.
But you know what I mean? Like, just do that. You can make just war after war after war for him.
Well, then he could be dribbling out of his ears by the time he's 30.
Yeah, but there's nothing going on there anyway.
Yeah.
Is there really? Like he doesn't strike me as the smartest individual. Isaac Cruz.
That's fine. He still has feelings, and he wants his health.
Yeah,
Probably.
who knows? But yeah, that's just a ridiculous fight. There. Talking about shot fighters, Jason Rosario needs to finish.
Jesus
Christ. Just totally pointless, that fight.
Yeah. I mean, he was just a punching bag for 8 rounds. What's the point?
Why was it a middleweight? Why was it happening? Like, yeah.
He didn't win a second of that fight. He's coming forward with whoop-de-doo, but
He came forward doing nothing. Came forward eating punches.
he's like pawing, waiting for him, waiting for Ramos to just sit there.
Yeah, I mean, he came forward, getting his body destroyed, and then he got his face destroyed.
Honestly, it's a bit. All it did was make Ramos look a bit bad for not taking him out earlier. Because there's no way that should have gone into the 8th round.
I mean, he would have if it was
by about round 5.
If it was at 154 at least. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, if it was 154, he would have punched a hole through his chest. So he tenderized him a bit. There would have been a conversation if he didn't stop him.
He broke him down and stopped him.
Rosario should retire immediately.
Yeah.
Should have already been retired. It's crazy that he's not even 30 years old yet.
It's annoying. Like, if Rosario is going to continue, he should be taking fights like the Herd fight on Pro Box. Like, there's enough washed up guys, like, around those weights for him to fight. And if he's going to continue, just fight those guys, because you're going to get seriously hurt if you go in with, like, more prospects. Like, seriously hurt. Like, can you imagine him going in there with, I don't know, who was there at middleweight? Yoenli Hernandez against Jason Rosario. Can you imagine that?
Christ almighty.
Like, you know what I mean? And they're the type of fights you're thinking about.
It's not what I want to think about for his health. Jesus Christ.
Like, just go and fight Herd again, and go and fight, I don't know, who is there? J-Rock or someone?
J-Rock.
I'm just gonna rematch J-Rock.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, there's fights there that are interesting enough, or like.
With those type, I rather fighters like that just retire instead of just fight pointless fights. Honestly, especially with him, because his punch resistance has been gone for years. So I think he should just stop.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this. There's still like 3 fights to talk about that were all entertaining in their own way. What a night, man. Yoenli Hernandez. Actually, no, Mirko Cuello is next, isn't he? Mirko Cuello against Christian Olivo. Oh my god, what a comeback. Like, Olivo's very, very good, isn't he?
Dan, you want to talk about that?
He's a
very
solid fighter.
You want to talk about that stoppage? No.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We will get to it. Look, yeah, Olivo's very good. I'm like not surprised that his like idol or whatever is Marquez. And some of those combinations he was letting go.
Yeah. Cuello annoyed me in this fight because one, he abandoned, like, Sugar Hill on commentary was literally screaming, just throw a jab, and like it was so obvious, and he just wouldn't.
Yeah, he's just Edwin Rosario chicken chicken winging it towards him. I'm like, what are you doing? Throw your hand.
And like, he admired his work a lot, and he just expected Olivo to go down to it. Like he's very good technically, Cuello, but he kept switching off, and he kept just dropping his hands, expecting Olivo to just go down at everything that he landed, and like it was. Just, I don't know, man. He's technically really, really good, but oh my, like he's got to sort that out. You got to sort out like just the mental side of it. I think
He needs to be active too. I didn't realize he was out for that long.
Well, look, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch.
I think we should see a rematch.
I think we should see a rematch as well because that was not a good stoppage.
There we go.
It was a terrible stoppage. I agree.
That was a terrible stoppage.
Like
Look,
it might have happened anyway, but right there, that was nasty.
Look, these are body shots. If you can get up from a body shot, you can continue to fight.
I think
It's not like he was taking a ridiculous amount of head damage before that, so the ref can't be like, "Oh man, you're
Like,
taking a lot of head damage."
even
and somebody.
take away, yeah, I mean, take away the early knockdown that he had. Take away the fact that he's way ahead in the fight. It's still a bad stoppage.
yeah,
Add that in, that's an egregious stoppage.
he earned the right to continue there. Definitely. I think I said it
probably
on
would have
Twitter,
got stopped anyway. But
yeah, like you let him continue and then he goes down again. Like
Yeah,
after
then
3
stop it.
knockdowns, no one can complain.
Then stop
knockdowns
it,
in a
sure.
round. Yeah, 3 knockdowns in a round. Absolutely, no one can complain about the ref stopping that.
with even enough time
Especially
to get a
quick
fourth
succession.
one, to be honest. But after
yeah.
2, and he's like up and
Yeah,
fine.
He
He
was just waiting. Like, he was like, yeah, he looks hurt. Well, of course he looks hurt.
He just got punched
hits
again
to the
in his
body.
tenderized body.
You're gonna look hurt. He's gasping for
it's a
breath.
boxing match. Like, you know what I mean? People, yeah.
He's trying to breathe. There was, I mean, look, the Yoenli Hernandez stoppage as well. I didn't like that one either.
We'll get on to
But you know, that was bad. That was a much better stoppage than that one. That was a bad stoppage. But good comeback. I mean, he's really started to sort himself out in the last couple of rounds. Shame he couldn't do that earlier. But I will put that down. I'll put that down to the performance.
And inactivity, man. He needs to be more active.
It's a lot of ring rust and like I just there's mental blocks there for me. Like he's like so much more technically proficient than that. Like, and he is. If you watch quite a lot of his fights, he's just so much better than that, and he just wasn't free. It's like he just expected to walk in there and just run him over. And then, like, even though he was getting battered for like a few rounds, he just thought, "Oh yeah, he's gonna fall eventually." Like, I guess he did, but like, it was poor, man. It was poor. Like, how did you have it scored, by the way? If you scored
I gave Cuello 2 rounds, I think.
That's interesting.
I gave him 2 rounds.
I think he won.
It wasn't close. I mean, it was.
He definitely was
competitive, but I mean, scoring wise,
I had 86-84.
You see, Larry Hazard had Cuello.
Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible.
See that?
Crazy. He had him up 86-84.
Yeah, that was terrible.
For coming forward, like
for getting punched in the face a lot.
From the
Cuello definitely wasn't winning.
Score.
Like from 2 to 4 rounds was fine. He definitely wasn't winning the fight though. 86-84 and he got dropped. That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
I mean, he gave him like 4 rounds in a row, and I was like, "What are you doing? What are you watching?"
6'3" though.
Like, are we watching the same? Are we watching the same fight?
He had to have got them mixed up.
No, because he gave the 10-8.
Yeah, he did give it to me.
Oh.
So like he didn't. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Well, Larry Hazard's never been a good scorer anyway. So
Let's see. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let's just move on from that. But yeah, I
got
think
another
Cuello's going to stop
sexy
Nick
fight.
Ball. I don't think he's going to stop Nick Ball, so I don't think that fight happens. But that wasn't a good performance. I'd like to see a rematch.
yep,
For like,
I'm advocating for the rematch.
I'd like to see it over 12 as well. I think it deserves to be over 12.
If it looks the same, yeah, sure, I'll watch that over 12 rounds. I'll watch it over 20 rounds.
It's a great fight. It was a really, really good fight.
That was a good high level fight. If they
Featherweight's
don't
amazing.
rematch, if they
Featherweight's
don't
amazing.
rematch, I want to see Olivo again.
Yeah.
He's good to watch.
He
He's
had
a
a
good
close
fighter.
fight with Nunez as well. That was a very, very close fight. He could have easily got that.
He could have got that. I think he probably should have got that.
But yeah, he's a good fighter. There's a lot of fights at featherweight for him. There's a lot of fights at it's such a good division, man. You've got guys like Carlos Castro that are barely top 15, Arnold Kagai barely top 15, Seaman Sagawa, Luis Nunez, like going down just go down the pages on BoxRec, like Omar Trinidad, like all these guys can be in really good fights. It's a really tough division.
Are they
Kolmatov,
154?
like it is sort of like 154, like.
It's not.
Off
It's
the bet,
not the.
Kolmatov is on the second page of BoxRec.
Yeah, like the
Like,
quality of fighter at 126 is not better than 154, but I guess it's just as competitive, and the number of good fights you can make is one of the best divisions in the sport at the moment.
even like Reece Salim, Bruce Carrington, Ray Vargas, Dayan Gonzalez, Matsumoto. Oh, God, like there's so many. Ray Arabe is coming back. Like, there's everyone there. Ruben Villa, like Albert Trotro Gonzalez, Yan Santana, Brandon Leon Benitez. Oh my God, Lorato Lamini. Like, there's guys that aren't great, but are there, and you could like chuck them in with people. Like, yeah, it's brilliant, man. It's a brilliant division. There's so many interesting fights that can be made, and like, there's probably about 20 or 30 fight. That's probably extreme. There's probably 15 fighters that could win a belt right now. I mean, Nick Ball's a champion. The belts keep getting like passed around a lot. Like nobody's holding onto a belt for very long. It's a
Well,
really good division.
anyway, well, when he moves up.
Yep, but that's gonna be next year or whenever, or another this year, or like whenever it is.
Could be
Yeah,
December.
hopefully December. Yoenli Hernandez
Beat the hell out
just
of
beat up Angel Ruiz to 5 rounds. To be honest, like he just beat him up. There's not much
like
to
an
say.
even more athletic, more clean, like Brandon Glanton. How big and like strong he is, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, like, I didn't like the stoppage, but like, who cares really? I mean,
That was
it wasn't.
better because he took a
It was
lot
a
of
mismatch.
punches.
Like at least he was just getting beat up, and then he got stopped.
If you're gonna stop it along the ropes like that, I don't know why they didn't stop it in the fourth.
Or in the corner or something like that
Yeah,
was like a Charlo Harrison. Like you stopped it at the wrong time.
yeah, like he was just getting beaten up. He's a really interesting fighter, Hernandez, because he's massive. First off, he can punch and like he's relentless. Like I don't think he's going to be the best middleweight in the world, but he's certainly up there.
And he's not
Especially in a division like this, man.
Yeah, it's terrible. Well, just keep him active and keep stepping up the competition.
I
He's
think
pretty.
he should
He's
fight
pretty
Ian
young
Green.
too.
He's 27.
Huh?
He was a top level amateur for ages. Like he's 27. He's not old, but he's not young. He won the world championship like 4 years ago in Serbia. I remember that after the Olympics.
I mean, look, I think the time has come to step up the competition for him.
Ian Green.
A good jump. Like a pretty good.
Just anyone. I mean, that was a pretty pointless fight last night, but I don't know, I guess it kept him active.
Yeah. Ian Green has a WBA top 5 ranking, and I think they'll do that fight for an interim title. Or a regular title or something like that. Like that's the fight that makes sense.
Of course they will.
It's like it's just this what it is, isn't it, at this point? Like
PBC and the interim and regular titles.
you know who I'd like to see him fight that I think would be fantastic to watch?
Someone.
Endry Saverdria, or however you say it, the one that
Jesus Christ.
Surveyor.
So
back.
these
Go
South
back.
American names, mate. I don't speak Spanish. And I don't. Yeah, I don't speak Spanish, mate. I don't know what you want me to do.
Just sound it out.
Him against Andrew Savage will be a good fight.
Yeah, that. Yeah, do that fight. He's been on PBC cards and that because he's not rematching Mateo Tapia because he's fighting on a Brock Jarvis undercard.
Don't remind me of it, please.
But yeah, make that fight. That would be a war that Hernandez would probably win. But that would be a really good fight. There's Shane Mosley Jr. Oh God.
That's not bad actually. I don't mind that.
God knows what he's doing because like he beat Jacobs last year, like July, and like he's just done nothing. God knows what's happening with him. Like he's just had probably a career best win or a career best name, I should say. Maybe not a best win because Jacobs is totally shot, but
I mean, it still might be his best win.
it might be. I don't know. But like, what's he doing now, sort of thing? Like, just get active, man. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's another conversation. Curmel Moton looks fantastic.
Yeah.
He gets hit a little bit, but they'll sort that out. But
he kind of looked like way bigger than usual. Too.
He's growing definitely.
Yeah, he'll be at 140 soon. He looked drained.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still looks good. It's accurate. Defense needs some work though. But
yeah.
he's
You got
18.
hit with a lot less.
Yeah, although he's 18, he's still got a lot of time for improvement.
They need to keep him at this level for just a little bit more.
I think they can step him up a little, like international title, like those sort of WBA Continental America belts. And
His
something
skill
like that.
is better than his age, but you don't want to burn him out so damn quick.
Yeah,
depends how quick they want to move him, because he could still be fighting these guys for at least another 18 months, and that's perfectly fine.
I prefer that for his.
or they could throw him into a title fight at like the age of 20. It's like one of those things.
They probably don't want to do that.
They probably don't, but they could. They've done it with those sort of fighters before, like Benavidez and people. If there's a weak point in a division, you can grab a belt and then just defend it against absolute no hopers to keep developing.
Is there going to be a weak point in the
140
East division? Maybe it's going to be a welterweight.
Well, it's
Well,
going to be a strong
look,
point.
in a couple of years, maybe welterweight completely flips back and becomes good again.
Who knows?
It won't, but it could. It won't.
I mean, Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan are fighting for a final eliminator at welterweight right now. Like he beat both of them.
Paddy Donovan's not that bad.
Paddy Donovan got hurt against some Argentinian, and
That's fine.
like
He's Irish.
exactly. He's
Okay,
like,
wait to piss off a whole country.
yeah, like he's not one of that fight, man. Yeah, that's about it for that card. It was I really, really enjoyed that card. Top to bottom, I watched all 7 fights. Back. It was a really, really good event, man. I really liked it.
You have to put a bit of a down on it. It should be for how much was it? Like $80.
Yeah.
Although here it was
free for me.
It was the hero was $20, which is fine.
I hear it was free. I don't know where you watched it, but
Yeah.
for me it was free. Like it was a really good event.
Well, they charged £60 for that card on payperview.com. Yeah, apparently.
Did they?
Crazy. When you could just go on Amazon Prime and buy it for £20.
These companies
or watch it for free.
You can buy it on payperview.com and listen to Dan Canobio.
Rather not. He should be busy counting punches.
He's got errors.
Dan Canobio's this is a separate point. His job is to count punches, yeah. And he couldn't even count the amount of fights on Bruno Sirachi's box rec page the other week. He kept saying this kid's only had 25 fights and stuff like that. When it clearly says on his record that he has 2 draws and 25 wins. He like and this man's job is to count stuff. Anyway,
well, maybe let me know why Connie Box isn't accurate.
Yep.
Other than Aris, when he counts them, they're accurate.
True. That's my goat right there.
Right. I only watched 2 fights on
your favorite promoter's card.
On the boxers show. Callum. What the hell was that Callum Simpson opponent?
I don't know, but the fact that he was going life and death with him, I just don't.
Callum Simpson is one of these guys. He's big, strong. Obviously punches quite hard. He's quite athletic, but there's 2 points I want to make about him. He doesn't understand range, like at all. He's sort of throwing hooks when he's miles out, and then he's throwing like long right hands when he's on his chest. He just doesn't understand range, and that's why he wasn't having a lot of success early until like just the power, and the size just took over for him. And so like he's another one of these guys. We sort of mentioned it with Figueroa. They're completely different styles of fighters, but he relies so much on his size and strength. And like when he gets drained at super middleweight, because he's a massive super middleweight, he's going to be like, he's either going to get drained or he's going to move up, and he's going to start losing to guys at domestic level, and he moves up to light heavyweight because he's not that good.
Right over.
He's not that good. Like people are talking to me about like, what's he called, Steven Nelson, for a fight against him. Steven Nelson would beat him. Steven Nelson would outbox him.
I feel like Simpson's got a bit overrated since that Woodall fight, because they just look at they must have not watched it and realized that the stoppage was horrible.
But Steve Woodall he's not that good. He was losing every round to Lerone Richards until he caught him. Like he's not that good.
They're looking at that and saying he just shinned him. Like
look how much
he shinned him, but
look how much problems like Zach Chelly caused him.
Don't remind me of that fight. Jeez.
Like Zach Chelly's not very good either. Like I just think he's like 20 pounds bigger than everyone he fights, and he's 6 inches taller and he's got like a 10-inch longer reach. And yeah, if you're anything half decent, you're going to win those fights at domestic level with those sort of advantages.
He's going life and death with a Ghanaian named Elvis.
I like it was a terrible opponent. This opponent's only beaten one person with a winning record, and that was like 3-2. It's a terrible opponent. It's a truly terrible opponent.
See, what's the point? He might as well just not fought.
I'll tell you what the point was, because boxer have no fighters, and they
They
needed
gotta
someone to
fill it
fill out
in.
a show.
Yeah,
Because Vidal Riley got another fight and wasn't going to be on this show.
Because I'm
And
out of here.
and that's why the atmosphere completely just died for the main event because everyone that was there for Callum Simpson and just left.
Let's move on to that main event. I thought Azim was boxing really well in the first sort of 3 or 4 rounds.
And then he
Just didn't step it up.
Decided to be Shakur Stevenson versus Cacace. So
Overall, I think it was a good performance. I think he should have stepped on the gas earlier and sooner, but I think it's a good performance.
His lead hand work to the body was really good.
Yeah, when you go to the body that much, it's gonna stray low. It's fine.
Yeah.
2-point deductions, I guess, is a bit like, oh damn, could have got disqualified, but
He'll learn. It was a good performance. He's a good fighter, but like, I've just got this thing with him. Like, I've seen a lot of his fights where he's either really happy to sit in first gear or he can't go through the gears.
yeah, that's why I picked him by decision. Well, speaking of that, I tried to change my prediction. The boxing news that wouldn't let me. Rob Tebber, we need some discussions.
Talking about predictions. My water bottle just fell on the floor. Jesus. I picked Lipinets by KO accidentally in the Discord.
I thought you were just predicting what you might have bet.
I thought you were.
No, I didn't even bet that. I don't know why. So I came back I came back during the Benavidez Morrell card because I couldn't remember if I put Cuello by KO or Cuello by UD.
Oh, speaking of that, I changed my prediction last night to a decision on the app. Oh, bloody hell!
Tough.
I checked it and then it's like, oh, Lipinets KO. I was like, what? Did I do that? Oh,
I did what?
Look, well, no one got a color title anyway.
Yeah. I'm so pissed. God damn it, Figueroa.
But yeah, like.
Yeah, but can we please stop with the washed former good fighters now, please? That'd be fantastic.
There's a few fights for him. I really like the Barakmadov fight for Azim. They won't take it because it's a terrible record on paper.
I don't like that fight for him.
I like its success.
He loses that fight.
I think he beats him.
I do not.
But
he might get the decision. There's another one that Akhmedov should have won, but I don't think it'll be that close.
It would be like Cuello. It would be like Cuello, man.
I don't think it'll be that close for to be like close. It could have gone either way. I mean,
maybe I don't know.
I mean, he's good.
I do think Azim's improving.
I don't think he's good as everyone says, but he's still young, so that's fine.
I think he needs someone that's gonna someone durable enough
to potentially beat him.
I mean,
don't
someone durable enough and strong enough that's technically good enough to set a pace that he's gonna have to show more in. She's never had that. He's had all these fights his own way. He needs someone that's going to be big, strong, powerful, and is going to make him work.
Is Ben going to let him?
I rate Azim.
Is Ben going to let him get in with someone like that?
No,
that's why you turn down those fights.
You know what? Really, it sounds like I'm just hating it. I am to a degree, but nothing annoys me more than arrogant fighters that contradict themselves within seconds. After the fight, he goes, "Oh yeah, Dalton Smith, you better be watching. I'm going to beat you." And then 30 seconds later, he says, "No, it's not happening next. It's still marinating." The clips on Sky Sports Twitter, like what, You can't instantly call him out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to do all this," and then say, "No, I'm not going to fight you. We're still marinating." What are we doing? Like what we like. This is the thing with these British super light. These two, Azim's embarrassing, and is like the way he's been moved is stupid. Dalton Smith's fighting nobodies. What's the point? Like both of them get way too much attention, and it's not some big British super fight. Like we saw the amount of fans in the arena for Dalton Smith against Whizzer. We saw the amount of fans in the arena for Adam Azim against Lipinets. It's not a super fight. Like I don't get the obsession with it. It is what it is. Like either make it or don't, but just shut up about it. You know what I mean?
It should happen. I want to see it happen.
It's getting to a point where I just don't care. Like you're going on and on and on about it, and nobody's like interested in making it. And Azim's clearly ducked it. Smith's fighting absolutely terrible opposition, like valid Whizzer. Like what? Like
Look, this isn't a fight where if you keep marinating it, it's just going to get bigger. It's not going to get bigger. Just make the fight happen. And if you're not going to make it happen, shut up about it.
do we seriously believe that they take the risk?
No, I don't think.
You
I
know
don't
what the
think
stupid
Ben
thing
Shalom
about it
takes
is?
these risks.
I
Lots of things.
think Azim would beat him. Azim would have beaten him 2 years ago. Azim would have beaten him a year ago. Azim beats him now. That's the stupid thing about this. And I'll nail that flag into the ground. As much as like they've moved him stupid and they're talking stupid and all of this, Azim beats Dalton Smith. But they're too stupid to make the fight.
He might do. I mean, I'm not too sure who wins, but I mean, he definitely can win.
Anyway, ran over. I didn't watch anything else in that show, so.
Oh, juiced. Campbell Hand got stopped in a round.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Scott Forrest.
Yeah, got stopped in a round.
That's not surprising.
You know who needs to retire though? TKB. Get him out of here.
Oh yeah, they had an absolute mid off for 9 rounds, and then the doctor pulled Michael Webster out. That stopped it. That was a bad. I don't understand.
Yeah. I haven't.
The officiating yesterday was just disgusting. Don't
look.
They had in a facility.
There was a little bit of blood. Like there was some blood, but he wasn't getting beaten up, and they didn't do anything for like 7 rounds before TKB started to finally land some punches, and then they were an exhausted mess for the rest.
Yeah, TKB needs to retire. Someone who actually like genuinely needs to retire. Lloyd Jermaine, you gotta go. You gotta.
Yeah,
I saw that fight actually.
You gotta go. 3 straight third round knockout losses. You gotta go.
Stopped by someone who didn't have a knockout.
Joel Couture is terrible, by the way. He's not very good.
Lions in the cage.
But that TKV thing, I haven't seen this fight, but I had someone that was in the arena raging at me and text messages saying like, "This is so bad." But this is the thing about heavyweights. Outside the top level of heavyweights, they are awful to watch. Like they're slow, ponderous, out of shape. They hardly throw punches. They're all knackered after 3 rounds. Like,
look, that describes a lot of top heavyweights as well.
Yeah, I was trying to be kind, but like, it's just, yeah, man. I've seen enough of TKV and Webster to know that I don't want to watch that fight. What happened to the guy that knocked out TKV? That Brazilian. He came in and just beat him up and then just disappeared.
Who knows? No British promoter is ever going to bring him in again.
Yeah.
He's had 1 fight in Argentina.
That Michael Webster, by the way, beat Soldakers I know he didn't get the decision, but I was like
He
2 foot away from that fight. He beat him.
he beat him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then got stopped in the rematch.
Michael Webster was on GB for a time.
Brilliant. Him getting stopped by Dakers is the reason I picked TKB to stop him.
I don't think I made a prediction for that fight. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I only predicted it because it's on the app. What else is
We've
on that
given
card? I have no idea.
Lucas
the Welsh kid won. Crawler's Welsh kid won. Grove's kid won. And that was it, wasn't it? I don't know anything else that happened.
Yeah, it was a terrible card. Like they all are.
Terrible card, man. I was watching it and like my dad was watching it. I texted him. I said like, cause he used to watch so much boxing and just doesn't anymore because he's just sick of it. And I was like, right. I sent him the YouTube link for the prelims for the PBC card because that like started right after, and I said, watch this Moton kid on YouTube at 2:00 in the afternoon where this fight is, and you'll be more entertained than the entirety of the boxer card. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Like, it's just terrible. The whole thing was like, and if this is where British boxing's heading, because we can go on to Friday night as well, like, British boxing is, it's not going well. If these are the type of cards served up on the biggest platform on Saturday night, you've had 2 back-to-back cards from Boxer that have just been terrible.
Yeah, and all the other terrible cards. They've had like one good card ever.
They
waiting.
started off doing okay.
I'm just waiting for Sky Sports to be like, no.
That deal is coming to an end in September, so we'll see.
Well,
like, what happened to the Peacock deal? That's what I want to know, because nobody's going to ask about that, are they? Because that, that might have ended.
yeah, because I'm not surprised. Probably by choice. They're like, well, what's the point of showing this?
What the hell was this?
Why are we paying for this product? Nobody's watching it. It's not even good. Yeah, like
3 people probably watch boxer cards on Peacock in the whole of the US.
Yeah, Friday night. I thought Junaid Bostan was a very, very lucky boy, and this has been coming. This has been coming with him because
he's horrible.
He had that fight in America on the Sunny Bam undercard. Got hurt a couple of times in that, and I thought that was a close fight.
Gordy Russ.
The Jack Martin fight a few fights back. I know Jack. He's a good lad, and like ultimately, like Jack had a lot of success that night, but ultimately, like Boston was just too big, too strong. But Jack was landing a lot, and like wouldn't go away, and like Boston looked uncomfortable. And then that, like, I just thought he lost. To be honest, I thought he lost that fight.
I can't remember.
I feel like the draw.
I think a draw was a fair
A draw's fine. A draw's fine,
but he was horrible.
He looked terrible.
So bad. He looked tired. He like from the first 2 rounds, he was spent like already.
A draw's fair.
Fawaz just did a bit more.
If Boston's the B-side fighter, he's losing that fight.
Yeah.
It's one of those. He's just not that good. There's been a lot of hype about him knocking over journeyman. And British journeymen are terrible, which is partially why the prospects are so bad. There's multiple reasons, but like he's just not that good, and that's it. He's not very good.
Well, he's gonna lose eventually.
Soon.
It'll be soon, because like if you're having these sorts of fights at English level, like if they do, I'll be very surprised if they do a rematch. By the way, very, very surprised.
They should, but they won't.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I've just thought about this. He is lucky he didn't fight Ismail Davis.
Yes, he is.
Because that fight was ordered or whatever. And like, yeah, he's lucky that fight didn't happen because Davis would have beaten him, probably stopped him. George Liddard beat Derek Osaze, another prospect with a, yeah.
Just so exhausted with British boxing.
Yeah, like, I said to someone, so George Liddard, Jimmy Sainz, Giorgio Visioli, and Emmanuel Buttigieg, I genuinely couldn't tell you the difference between them.
You said that to me.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what weight they fight at. I don't know, like, it's just
And then I replied, "There is no difference."
like, yeah, like you turn on before the bell when you're doing something else and you're really concentrating on something else, and you see the exact same fighter having the exact same type of fight with a journeyman, and it all just blends into one. And you got like, there's nothing outstanding about any of them. They're just okay. They'll be okay.
I like
British
Taylor
fighters.
Bevan's good.
Bevan's a good fighter. Bevan was a good amateur. He's a good fighter.
Outside of
Everybody
the
else
main event, outside of the main event, like, if you told me that was before the bell card, I would have believed you.
It's a next gen card. It is what it is, man. But like, it's just not.
It's really just filler boxing.
Like, as I said, it was either on Wednesday. I think it was on Wednesday's show. You could have put the Boxer and Matchroom cards together, and you couldn't make a good TV product out of it. You couldn't make a good show. But yeah, it's just.
It wouldn't have been a good show if you put them together.
It's not good. What else has there been this week? Muslim Gadzhimagomedov might be the biggest first gear merchant in the entirety of the sport.
He's so bad to watch. He's just terrible to watch.
He's a really good fighter, but he's just terrible. Like, it's just so bad. Like, it's just you just get tired.
Like, you know how he's gonna fight, and you know how he's gonna beat these fighters. If you've seen one of his fights, you've seen them all.
Against Zhang, like, when he won the Bridgerweight title, he actually looked good. Like, he looked aggressive and punching, and like, yeah, he's just turned into all reverted to type, really. Just a first gear merchant.
Yeah, maybe it was a good idea they didn't sanction it.
Yeah, Mchunu needs to pack it up too. So.
Yeah, he's done. Mchunu's been a good fighter, but he's done. And there's nothing else, really. I don't know if you can think of anything.
Mauricio Lara.
Oh, yes. I forgot about him. He is rather forgettable.
I mean,
he's done.
That was a fun moment in the fight.
It was actually a good fight to watch. It was actually a good fight to watch, but man, like, he is shot to pieces. He is done.
At 26.
Like, I don't know how you can look that bad, because he was in shape as well. That's the bad thing. Like, the other fights, you can sort of say, well, he just didn't train, and, you know, he wasn't taking it seriously, and, like, he just couldn't be bothered. He trained for this fight. He was, like, in decent shape. It was the lightest he's been since the first Lee Wood fight. And he just looked shot. He got hurt. He looked ponderous. He looked sluggish. He started from the first bell, throwing hooks from the fences that were telegraphed, like, beyond. Like, if you think of a typical Mexican boxer that's throwing telegraphed hooks, it's 100 times worse. Like, you could see him from the back. You could see him from 10 miles away. Like, that's where he was throwing him from. He sort of looked like a fighter that had lost 11 rounds and was going out in the 12th to try and knock the guy out and just totally missing because he was tired and had been outboxed for 11 rounds. That's what it looked like for the entire fight. And then he got hurt, and then like even when he had the Vila going in the 8th round, like he looked sloppy and just terrible. Like I can't believe this man knocked out Leewood and Josh Warrington.
Well, I can because he's Mexican and British.
Yeah.
Look, that's who Brandon Figueroa should fight at 130.
That's who anybody who wants a decent name should send him an offer.
Raymond Ford should fight Mauricio Lara.
Yeah.
He shouldn't. Maybe he should. I don't know.
Ford would stop him. And like, let's be honest about it. Only we're watching these fights. So like, nobody's like watching Mauricio Lara against Edwin Davila. Like, nobody's seeing that fight. They'll look on BoxRec and see, well, he stopped him, and he drew with Lugo, and it is what it is. And then like, oh my god, Ray Ford's just brutally knocked out the guy that knocked out Leewood and knocked out Josh Warrington, and it's a good name. And that's what it is. Like he should just sell his name now to like whoever wants it, because like he can get a good 2 or 3 paydays out of doing that.
Yes, he will be boxing's #1 prostitute.
Because that's just the game, isn't it? Like
the game's the game.
That's just boxing, man. Like we've had 2 fighters fight this week that are totally shot to pieces, and they're still in their 20s. It's like boxing in the 1930s all over again. Shot to bits by 26.
Well, they have an excuse at least. They fought 5 billion times.
Yeah. Mauricio Lara, man. Mauricio Lara, what is going on? Is there any news this week? Is there any news? I'll check the Ring Twitter, because that's usually a good place for news.
Shout out to Benson. Still doing his thing.
Bruce Carrington against... Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that, actually. Bruce Carrington is fighting a WBC final eliminator at featherweight against Enrique Vivas somehow.
Just made to look good after that last horrible performance.
Yeah. I don't know how this is a WBC eliminator.
I don't know, but Top Ranker definitely pumped the brakes on his opponent level after the cigar fight.
He won 3 rounds of the fight. So.
Dana Coolwell, Enrique Vivas.
Dana Coolwell, I give him a pass because that was like a showcase fight. Really, that wasn't a serious development fight. That's just what it is. But Vivas
and the card it was on as well, I guess.
Yeah, like the amount of viewership that did, like that was a showcase fight on that card. That is what it is, and he probably wouldn't have got like a good 10-round opponent on a. If you know what I mean, like that's just is what it is. Like it's fine, but this is not very good. It's okay, but it's like not brilliant. He'll beat Vivas pretty comfortably.
Yeah, would have been okay 4 years ago.
Yeah, and ironically, Carrington would have been like 24 4 years ago. So because he's getting into 30-year-old prospect stage.
Yeah, I mean he's not at the age where you can slow down his level of competition, but
doing it. It's a slow news week when Klitschko coming back comes out, because that happens every few months. He pretends he's coming back when he's not. Golden Boy have signed Joshua Edwards. That's a very, very good signing at the Olympics. Joshua Edwards is a very good fighter. Anthony Cacace has bucked Eduardo Nunez, probably to fight Lee Wood in a fight between two people that aren't interested in actually fighting anyone good.
Well, I never expected him to fight Nunez. So what can you do?
I didn't either. But like,
And him, Nunez versus Rikishii is a banger.
it's a really, really good fight. I think Nunez is going to stop. I don't even
He
think it'll
probably
be
will.
missed. Nunez,
No, chill.
I know
Hey.
it's like
Respect Rikishi.
He's
if you look at
Japanese. They're always on the list.
Rikishi against what's it called? Magnesi.
What's it called?
If Nunez is landing those shots, Rikishi is unconscious. Like,
Oh
Maybe.
yeah,
but shit.
that might happen on May 28th, by the way, in Yokohama.
I
On the
cannot believe Nunez fought Mariaga, bro.
here's what it is.
Like,
That fight's rumored / happening. On the Takei undercard on May 28th. Takei's fighting the Thai he was supposed to fight on the Inoue undercard on May 28th in Yokohama. And
Brilliant.
you know,
Well, Yoshiki Takei is going to get another knockout. It's been a while.
yeah. That Thai kid was a good amateur, but like he's just done nothing as a pro.
But, I mean, look, Akui went live and dead with a tie. Maybe Takei's going to as well.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
it has nature to do so.
But then again, Gento knocked one out, so
Yeah, I mean, he kind of went a little bit of. He didn't have all his own way for like 5 rounds.
You know, the only person to not go life and death with a tie last year was Carlos Canizales.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
still lose.
But yeah, Cacace against Wood.
Look,
Cacace,
I mean, I get it. I mean, they're both old and going to get a payday. Who cares? It is what it is.
it just annoys me when like the Warrington fight that was never going to be for the IBF title, but you held on to that and whatever. You cocked about Nunez like he could already be champion right now. He's been he's beat a really good fighter in Rakhimov. He's better than Cacace, by the way. He's beaten a better fighter than Cacace, or was at that stage. Nunez is a really good fighter. He deserved his shot, and then you're fighting Josh Warrington in a non-title bout instead, and then like, oh, you're pretending to reach a deal because you want to negotiate the Lee Wood fight for a little bit longer and get more money from that fight, and then like he's been messed about, and it just annoys me, especially when like the guys that are making these fights are moaning about other people not fighting their mandatories. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Eddie.
You're either acknowledging the game or you're not. Like
Eddie Hearn, we're talking about you here. Look, the Warrington fight is inexcusable.
This fight is what it is, but like, this is why I don't watch interviews and press conferences and that, because you can imagine, they're two world level fighters and they're top of their game, and it's like, no, they're old, they're not interested in fighting the top guys anymore, and they want a payday. And if you say that, you're deemed as negative and a hater and all of this stuff. I said it with Wood against Warrington. That was a cash grab. This is a cash grab. All of these fights are cash grabs. And you can just acknowledge it. It's not difficult. But you can also acknowledge that they're not interested in actually fighting the top guys anymore, which they're not. And if they were, they would keep their titles and fight their mandatories and fight guys in unifications. Like, they're just not interested in that. Just acknowledge what it is. That's all I really want in this sport, and like the people surrounding the sport. Just acknowledge things for what they are.
Oh, they can't do that. They con the public.
Yeah. But it's a little rant over. But yeah, Nunez is going to knock out Rikishii to win the belt. And then I want Nunez to fight Ray Ford, but that's not going to happen either. But I want that fight to happen.
Yeah, so Ray Ford can school him.
I'm not sure he would. That's a good fight.
Shout out to Ray Ford. Best fighter at 130.
Is it?
Yeah. No, he is the best fighter at 130.
It might be Nunez. It might be Nunez. We'll see, but it might be Nunez.
I think it's Ray Ford.
Can you imagine Nunez against Navarrete?
I can imagine the list.
Yes. Like, there's so many good fights there. And this is what I mean about stalling divisions. He could be a champion now. We could be seeing a fight like that. But no, because Anthony Cacace wanted to pretend to have an IBF title on the line and carry it to the ring against Josh Warrington. But no, let's not do that. Let's not actually run it like a sport. But anyway, rant over. Nothing else this week, is there?
Boxing is not a sport; it's a business.
Yeah, and it's sad. But yeah, is there any other news?
No.
No. Well, that's been episode 31. Thank you for listening. All the links and stuff are down below. And yeah, it's been a really good week of boxing, and we'll be back on Wednesday to preview Bakadir Jalilov fighting somebody that Alan Babic stopped. So we look forward to that.
Will we?
Yeah, thank you for listening.
See you in episode 32.